When I think of like Trump and how much he likes power, and how much he seems to be a fan of Russia, and how much he's changed on China compared to like his first time in office, I'm like, I think he's trying to do like a China-Russia maneuver. I think he wants to be like China and Russia. I think he wants to like hopscotch over Europe, bypass Europe, and be friends with China and Russia instead, and be like big three dominators of the world. And like, I mean, if I were playing
Big
Risk,
three, I like that. That sounds like a basketball team.
Oh, we get to be number one.
well,
Where's
Of the triumvirate, we have to be the clear one. That's the
what's
deal.
weird. What's weird though is like right now, like in the time that it takes the US to build the ship, like China builds 10.
Mhm.
So like if you are number one and that's like the alliance, like, well, how long are you number one for? And like, well, like I know China doesn't build things as well as the USA, but they have gotten better at their whole method of like copying things. Even if you buy shit from China, like I mean, I do action figures, so I'm about to get real gay on y'all.
Yeah.
The car. I saw a car review the other day, and it was like, that blows a Tesla out of the fucking water.
Is it BYD?
The cars are crazy. The fake action figure market is crazy good. Like the whole method of like I guess it was like an early game shit stat, but that late game stat of being able to copy your opponent's stuff at like at a weaker ability later in the game is like you get better and better at it until you could do full copies. So yeah, and I don't know.
You may be right about that. What I would imagine is that Trump, if he looks at Europe and how their leadership works, and then he looks at China and Russia and how their leadership works, he would probably much rather be a Xi or a Putin than he would like a Macron or some European leader. I think that does make a little bit of sense. And then maybe he could make some kind of deal with Russia he takes Greenland and Canada. They get all of Ukraine. You never know.
I don't think they're going to make that trade. I don't think.
What if the Russians help us with Canada? What if the Russians came over the North Pole?
First of all, it's insulting you insinuate we need help with Canada.
Well, yeah, but see, they would surrender immediately though if that happened, because that's what the Japanese did. The Japanese were holding out, and then they saw the Russians were coming from the north, and then they're like, "Hey, let's go and surrender."
Harley, would Canada fall? I guess it depends what fall is.
What's weird about Canada is like. It is like, yeah, okay, Canada's very unified right now. Like even the French Canadians are unified. But like I think about it, it's like you don't fall in the sense that like, yeah, if you guys came in like boots, it's like, what's Canada gonna do? Like they're not gonna shoot back at you. But like I made a silly video of this online, like halfway as a joke. But like the truth is like Canada is a joke as a country. It's a joke as when it's a country, but like when people talk shit to me as a Canadian, they're like, dude, we'll fucking roll on your ass. I'm like, okay, South Dakota, don't talk about my country when you're South Dakota. You're not all of the USA. As all of the USA, you could talk badly about Canada. But if Canada is now a state, and even if you broke it up, we're talking about like you guys just got 9 million French people. You're now this state, Canada, is the state that's providing all the oil to the country. All the oil, like it's like Texas oil is practically dried up compared to Canada. Canada is going to be providing the oil as like it's like how loyal are the people, the Canadian people, and what can they do along the way to fuck up and hamper the USA if they were that spiteful? And there are tons of Canadians that are like, hell yeah, I see like posted on like r/Canada flags that have the USA flag with like a maple leaf amongst them, like being like, yeah, Trump, and we want to be part of the USA. And then I see like French Canadians that never sing the anthem in English, like singing the national anthem in English along with the rest of the country, because they're so like, oh yeah, we don't want to be fucking Canadian. But
they knew the word full time, guys.
They're like we want to be Canadian more than we want to be American. Yeah. And so there is like, it's like as a state, Canada all of a sudden becomes like really powerful. Like, do you want like something like California has a lot of influence within the country, like something like Canada would have a lot of influence in that. You're getting a lot more liberal-minded people.
Like I hope he does nothing in regards to Canada. I hope
nothing's going to happen with
I
Canada.
hope the United
That's
States
insane.
and Canada renegotiate whatever needs to be
Yeah, you guys,
renegotiated,
I don't know,
and everybody
guys.
goes back to being kumbaya. But you know, if he killed your government and put in a new government, he held elections, and then what you know, the conservatives in your country won that election by a landslide. Everybody would keep paying their taxes, and it would seem like we're all Canadians because we'd still call ourselves Canadians and we'd keep the flag, but our taxes would suddenly be in US dollars and our economy would shift, and that would be that, right?
But that's not what happened in Afghanistan. That's not what happened in Vietnam. That's not what happened in Iraq. I mean, we were able to take out their government, but somehow that still didn't win the country.
Not a lot of Islamists up there. I don't know, and it's not going to be a jungle war either. It's a lot of first world white people.
That's a good point. Let me hit it back.
There are a lot
that's
of
one thing.
Islamists.
Hold on a second. I'm mostly quiet. Russia, what impresses me with that country militarily is not the shitty weapon systems they have. It seems like time and time again they come up as second rate. But what the Russian people are willing to endure in the name of unity might be king of the hill. You know, those fuckers will lose 2/3 of their population before they raise a white flag. And in Ukraine, they just keep coming and coming and coming. People are signing up to be part of a meat wave, for heaven's sakes. Who does that? I don't know that Canada has that like Russia does, but it is a question. Like, you know, Afghanistan did, Iraq did.
Well, I don't think there's any. I don't think it's realistic that there would be like an insurgency in Canada in any way there was like Afghanistan or
y'all
like
they were disarmed years ago. It's gonna be easy.
Yeah, they don't have any guns.
That's another big difference. Like, unless the Russians come in and give the Canadians arms against us, you know what I mean? Like I don't think
it'd be quite the crisscross.
I think that Trump holds so many cards with this economic war. I think that we're going to look, there's going to be an economic downturn here, but I would imagine it's going to be awful in Canada over the next few months. I don't see how it couldn't be.
Damn, just as eggs are back to normal.
Are they? They're still expensive here.
They're more than they were, but they're about 50% less.
Easter's coming up
than they were 2 months ago.
Easter's coming up in 17 days. You got to get those things down.
Oh, that's true. Big eggs. It's egg season. Yeah.
I didn't see any stats, but they must have killed hundreds of millions of chickens. Like, there must have been a chicken holocaust that no one said anything about that occurred.
How long does it take to make a new egg-laying chicken?
I don't know. I would guess about a dozen weeks, maybe 16 weeks even.
That's not too bad.
But I don't know. That I've never been part of that business. It looks incredibly labor intensive when they've got to go in there and get the eggs every day in those egg laying chicken houses. It's a continuous grind. Whereas if you're growing meat chickens, broilers, just kind of check in on them every now and then. They're not laying eggs or doing anything. They're just growing. The egg thing is just a continuous grind every day. And if you take a day off, then there's rotten eggs everywhere. You know what I mean? It's a disaster.
Shit.
What is this you just linked, Harley?
I put in there since we were talking about it. BuyCanadianGroup.ca, the first all-Canadian online department store who I've partnered with to help Canadians buy Canadian products. Because Canadians are very man, it's crazy. They took Jack.
Wait, you were a patriot 30 minutes ago. This guy.
That's the thing about my people.
Mm-hmm. He senses where the wind is blowing. Yeah.
As soon as China's in power, every Jew is going to be like, ni hao, shishi, shishi.
Yeah, shishi. Yeah. Holding their eyes back. Yeah.
That's
nice. Well, I hope we become fast friends again. Canada, second favorite country. They brought ice hockey to the world. They're actually, then this is pretty devastating. They're about to lose the Gretzky record. That's
big fan of New Zealand, though. I like New Zealand a lot. That might be my second favorite country.
They're up there. They seem cool, but Canada, they're our boys. They're up there. We play. I mean, you don't care about hockey.
Accent. They got that cool high pitched Australian thing where they hit certain vowels weird.
With the seeing a little odd. Speaking.
It almost leans into South African, a little twang to it. It's weird. I like it.
I think
I always
Lord of
think,
the
I know
Rings.
it's not Australia, but I did always want to go to Australia. I've never been. I know it's not the same, but like
Yeah, it's
just
close.
I would like to like I feel like I should go there. I feel like I just have people there.
Yeah,
I feel like I would like it there.
you
Dude,
got to take the
Australia-
pilgrimage.
I don't want a big ass spider in my toilet bowl though.
I bet
Does New
Australia would be
Zealand
down to be a
have-
state. I bet if we asked Australia, they'd be like, cool.
Damn, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty
Like-
neat.
They'd be like,
So we
get
get
back,
our guns back.
get back, cunt. Get back,
As
cunt.
long as we can play in the SEC.
That would. Oh, man, they're just getting blown out because they're traveling so much.
Extra Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, the Southeastern. Yeah, that
they'd call like UGA the Northerners. You Yankees.
Yeah, Australia would be neat to get in the mix. Let's get them all in there. Who would we exclude if we're making an ultra United
I don't want Mexico.
States?
I don't
the
want
whole
Mexico.
Western-
Crazy.
Mexico's
The whole
famous.
world.
The whole Western
world
world.
was the
The whole
USA.
Western world. So
The
like
whole
if we're
world is
picking
USA.
because like obviously like Somalia, you're not gonna be part of the US. Like, but like England, do they make the cut?
No.
Don't think geopolitically, just think if they're cool enough. I say
No.
yes. I think
I-
England is
Not if
definitely
they
cool enough.
not if they don't change their ways. I mean, I feel like that's going to be an Islamic country.
Just think of the
very soon.
people themselves because they're going to get their guns back when they join the U.S.
I like the
And
British.
So I like the
on
British.
board.
I think that's-
feel
I think
they're
what- I
fluffy
think
and tougher and they're underrated.
I like them. Ireland too.
I think
But-
Kyle's touching on
Yes.
something though when he keeps bringing it up. Is I think it's like an unspoken thing, but I think is like and this aren't like I'm like lack of better words. I think like some people like in the government or whatever consider like Europe compromised. Like the Islamic presence is so heavy and they're
Mhm.
quite heavy-handed with their like the way they have explained that like if they were to invade or if they were to colonize, it would be legally and from within. And people always said that like if there was an invasion of the USA, it would be because California literally let them in. And like Canada is similar to that. Canada is like at a like you go to Costco in Canada and like someone may put down that the prayer mat and face Mecca and do their prayers in at Costco.
Don't like that.
I am happy that this person has their religion and they can do their things, but I find it weird that there are so many mosques and you're doing it in the aisle when I'm trying to get those Uber gift cards behind you, and I
Yeah.
don't want to.
I'm trying to get to the pretzel barrel, and you're fucking bowing down for 6 minutes.
And they do
Enough.
it. They do it like they do it. They go to the park, like and they'll be like literally like a 1,000 in the park, and they have like this prayers on the loudspeaker, and they're doing it, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice to celebrate your religion in the park. But it's weird for people that aren't part of that, and like I think that is like it's a growing issue. I'm also like walking, even the way I walk around it, I feel like people feel a way about that. They're like, no, just say what it is. Like they're like, you know, it's like a
an issue.
demonstration
You
and
don't
a
have to
power
put
of
quotes around it.
it's a
an issue.
demonstration.
What
of
I
power
see
of
is-
numbers.
Is it
and
an
it's like,
issue that there's giant Christmas trees in public and people are surrounding that and making a Christian holiday? It seems pretty
well,
No,
parallel.
back
Not at
in the
all.
day, I used to be
Okay.
like, oh, this war on Christmas shit is so silly.
Mhm.
But I realized that like growing up and like now being here in Florida, I as like a Jewish person, I have like a lot of love for Christmas